Alrighty guys, welcome back to another GGF video, and today we're going to be taking a look at another video card. This is the ProArt 5080 from ASUS. Now, if you watch my Noctua 5080 video, this will be similar. I'll talk about a recent build I did and talk a little bit about this card. Probably not so much to talk about on the ProArt, I think, as the Noctua. Now, if you're not familiar with the ProArt line, it's really a streamlined sort of branch off that ASUS has done. So let me open this. More for content creators, professionals, a bit noisy consumers who don't really want all that RGB bling. They don't need sort of the highest of the highest, like an Astral or something like that. And the ProArt series on the GPU side, the cards are much smaller than the traditional cards. Let me take this out. So once again, haven't even opened this up yet. You get your 3 8 pins to 12 volt high power, Velcro cable tie, little anti-sag bracket, which you probably don't need. I found that these cards, being as small as they are, really don't need that that sag bracket because they're pretty sort of well designed and they're very, very sturdy. So if you look at the one in here, this is it here. This is the, actually this is not it here. This is the 4080. So you can see that it is pretty much bang on exactly the same. So this is the 4080 Super ProArt. We have the 5080. Who knows if there'll be supers, but I can only assume it'll be similar again. And then we have the stock 4080. Now, when I did this build, I did have two 4080s and it just came out so well. It's been at so many events. It's been at Vegas. It's been at Computex in Taiwan. It's been in Canada for the LTX Expo, and it's getting a little bit of wear and tear. The case is starting to bend a bit. The case is the Lithium E from your old Beast, and it just, I don't know, it just came out so good. I'll throw some shots of B-roll of the actual whole setup, and you can see the case, how it was done. I got this powder coated a similar color to match the GPU, and then of course you got the whole ProArt motherboard. I even had a ProArt mouse. Wondering if ASUS should do a ProArt keyboard, something really aimed towards editors, maybe a few knobs on it and so on, because they pretty much have everything. They even have the mouse, they just don't have a keyboard. But yeah, that was a build there, and I think it's time to do a new one, and that's why ASUS sent me the 5080. I'm gonna quickly take this peel off because it will be quite noisy. Alrighty, the protective film is off. These always take so long to take that off. ASUS really wrap their cards up nicely. Now, in terms of the PCB, I'm not sure exactly what this is based off. I think it may be based off their Prime series because that has a similar design as in the terms of the cooler and the overall shape as well. Now, let's just compare it to the previous, get that lined up. PCB seems a little bit longer on this 4080 Super, but overall, very similar. So what ASUS are boasting with this card is it is a 2-slot design. I would say it's a little bit more than a 2-slot design there. But the reason why they've come out with these cards is they're more compact. They're pretty much ready to go. Content creators don't really, well, some don't have time to build their whole PCs. They just want a card to throw in. It's going to fit. And I think this is going to fit in pretty much all cases out there. Maybe some of those really, really small SFF cases, they may struggle. Funny that I went with something humongous, but I wanted something to sort of show off the whole build, not just the card as well, because I do have the ProArt motherboard in there as well. Now, I actually just had to bring it up on the website, the ASUS ProArt product page, because I was looking at it before. It's going to be really hard to see, but they've added this bit of wood grain effect. Now, on the website, it's much more profound than on here. I kind of think I would have preferred, I'll throw up a shot of the website. I think I would have preferred to what it looks like on the website because it is more a, I would say, a walnut color. I'm not sure if there's two versions. If there are, I'll put it in the description to see. But this one is definitely darker. It's more black. I would say it's pretty much nearly exactly black, the same as the Shroud. But I think having a little bit of variance in this timber grain look might have been a little bit better. It would have given me a little bit more options to play with when it comes to doing a build. And when it comes to this, the new build, I haven't really decided what I'm going to do yet, what type of chassis I'm going to go with, whether I go with something that has wood on it. Now, I think the easy or the first option would be to go with ASUS's own ProArt chassis. I was thinking about that, but I kind of want a bit of a challenge. I want to do something different, something outside the box. I know ASUS would probably want me to use their case, but I think that would be the standard go-to option. Now I want to do something a little bit different where I can add my own wood. I could use their case and modify it, but then I don't really see the point. I think I would prefer to go something completely different. Whether I go with 1 or 2, do you think I should go with 2 again? Purely I went 2 last time just to fill up this space, and it just looked really, really awesome. You don't need to unless the software you have, I think DaVinci Resolve can use 250/80s, but then in the long run, it might be better just to go with 150/90. But yeah, 1 or 2, let me know. It still has the P mode and Q mode quiet performance like most of the ASUS cards do have. And in terms of the baseline clocks that come out of the box, you're looking at an OC mode of 2640, and then the default mode is 2617. And of course, that's all going to change depending on how good the silicon is on this card. 12 volt high power, pretty much standard, but overall exactly the same as its predecessor. I think this one might be a little bit, 5080 might be a smidge higher. Yeah, it's just a smidge wider than the previous one, and you can get a good idea of where the logos are positioned. GeForce has been moved to this edge rather than at the bottom, and it's just a fraction longer as well. But yeah, definitely I wish that wood grain was a little bit more sort of out there, a little bit more that you could see. And I also noticed that Computex, there are 2 versions of this card. I'm not sure if they're going through with it, but there was an M.2 version. There was one that you can crack open a cover, unscrew it, drop in an M.2, and that will then utilize any unused lanes. Now, I would like to see some testing on that, because most times when you bifurcate a card, you either go by 8x8 or 4-4-4-4. I'm not sure if you can do a card and do 12 for the card and then 4 for the M.2. I think it might have to be 8 for the card and then 8 for the M.2. Obviously for a 5080, an 8x for that performance may not be an issue, but it'll be good to see how the testing goes. But it was interesting that they did bring out an M.2 version on this card. We have seen that in the past. I think there was a dual or something on a lower spec card that had that, and then the M.2 went on the back there. It looked pretty sweet if you, not so much for the ProArt line, but if you did have the M.2 there, had it water cooled in with the loop, that would look pretty fancy. Last thing is the length is 304 millimeters. Very, very small card in terms of the 5080 series. They may be smaller, but this is probably one of the smallest you're going to get. Actually, I did want to just see, put that there just for giggles in my Noctua video. So this is the 5080 Noctua, 5080 ProArt. This thing is just insane for the Noctua. You can see how much bigger. So this is why ASUS have gone down that route to bring out a creator card, because you imagine creators picking up this card, trying to install this in a professional chassis. They don't want all the bling, they don't need all of that. This will just fit in, and that's why they've done this. You can just see how much smaller this card is. Move that out of the way. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Not too much else to talk about. I will try and find a nice chassis to go with this card. Any suggestions, let me know. I normally jump on AliExpress. I jump on all of the random websites to get ideas on different types of cases. A lot of the China websites, I just get ideas and I will try different cases. Like the previous Noctua build, that cue ball case, the wood one I had in that video, was actually made in Finland. I got that imported over. So there's a lot of cases out there. I just don't want to go with your traditional like a Lian Li, like a Cooler Master or Corsair. I really want to go out there and find something that can really work well with this card. I think Geometric Future, if you've heard of that case brand, they had something sick shown at Computex this year that might work well. Obviously for this card, you've got curves on here, you've got curves on here. So I will try and look for a case that was, I wouldn't say similar to this, but you notice how it's got the curve here. It's got the curve on each end. You can't see the front, but it just has those curves that matches nicely. Now, if you look at something like the Noctua, it's got a lot of sharp edges, very sharp, straight. So I need to try and match that. I actually noticed on the Noctua, it does have kind of different triangular planes. So when I do the build on this one, I may have to look for a case that'll match that nicely. Some people might think I'm going a bit overboard, but hey, this is what I do. I try to do the best of the best when it comes to the builds. And then once again, I won't be water cooling this card. The whole point of this is ASUS has sent me this to do a build based around it. If I slapped this in a case and water cooled it, I could have used any card. The whole reason was to theme this, or is to theme this and match it with the card. Now, lastly, when it comes to price, I couldn't actually find the price on the ProArt 5080. The best I could find was the Prime. The Prime 5080, I think, is ASUS's more entry-level version, and that was $1,299, so $1,300. The Noctua over here, I think, was $1,599, so this will probably be similar around the Prime price because it is similar in size and it does have this similar cooler design. But anyway, any questions? If you want to shoot me any questions about the build I should base this card off, if you've got any ideas, let me know. But anyway, I want to thank you guys for watching. I want to thank ASUS for sending out this card and also the Noctua to do some sick builds on, and we'll see you in the next one.